PUBG sports fans, I'm your PUBG sports guide, Annie, and I'm here with PUBG.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of the PUBG Esports News Show.
So today we're going to talk about the upcoming PUBG Continental Series 2, the whole participating team list, and the watch points we have there.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be really exciting. Not only are we covering the teams and players, but we have a new format this time around. It's going to be 6 days with 4 games per day for each region. So this is going to be a lot of fun and I think should be really good for the fans.
So we have a week more to enjoy PCS2. So check out the calendar and don't ever miss a single match. And also, Pick'em Challenge is also back, so don't forget to participate. First, let's start with Asia. Here, we can find 11 new teams compared to PCS1. It's going to be a whole new competition here. We do have 4 teams which participated in all PCS events, like 4 Angry Men, Infantry, Tiamba, and OGN&2s, but they will have to have a new strategy because they have to compete with whole new teams.
Yeah, exactly. While some of these teams are going to be familiar to PUBG Esports fans, a lot of them did not participate in PCS1. So things are really getting jumbled, and especially I think a lot of the drop locations are going to be contested in the Asia event. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out.
I'm really interested in the landmark fight on School and Apartment Zone and Pochinki. How do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. There's 2, I think probably the 2 most interesting battles that are going to be taking place on Erangel is going to be between 4AM and Ghibli for the School and Apartments. Now, historically, Ghibli has taken control of that location from 4AM, so we'll see if that continues. The other one is going to be SMG and OGN&2s over Pochinki. Now, Entis tries to fight over Pochinki. It doesn't really seem to go well for them. So in recent history, it seems like they've been more willing to move away from that location. Will that be the case this time around? Because China teams really seem dedicated to fighting over their landmarks.
I pretty much watched all of the PCS2 Asia qualifiers, and the last day of Asian qualifiers were insane. For example, in PJS, Detonation Gaming White and Sengoku Gaming was first and second before the last match, but both 2 teams struggled in the last match, and Sunsister and Element 36 earned a lot of points and achieved that 2 last tickets.
And to mirror that, in Korea, we had 3 teams that tied for the same amount of points for the very final spot to qualify for PCS2 Asia. So it was an intense final game with Afrika Freaks and Genji and VSG all having the same amount of points, but Afrika Freaks won the last game and had more kills than the other 2 teams, so they were able to come out ahead.
Yeah, it was really shocking not to have Genji in PCS2.
The other team I would like to highlight from Korea is T1. Now they have picked up Starlord, the veteran from VSG, who has moved over to be the in-game leader for T1, and he led them to a victory in PCS2 Korea.
In China, Infantry, the former champion of PCS1, won PCL, and I'm really glad to see the constant performance here, so I'm expecting a lot in PCS2 also. And I want to highlight SMG. This team is consisted of players who have been playing in global events in 2019, so I think these players are really capable of playing in global events. Also, Met98 from this team represented the Team China in PNC 2019. One more interesting thing here is that 4AM barely made it to the PCS2 by 1 point. It's always amazing to see that 4AM eventually make it to the global events no matter how.
Yeah, they're really crazy. I really would like to also highlight the 2 teams that qualified from Chinese Taipei. This is going to be their first time in a big global event in a while for some of them. Gex Ace, of course, looking to try to match their sister team's success. And Team Sadie's is a team full of very young, talented players who are finally old enough to get their shot at playing in one of these global events.
So next is North America. We can see a lot of familiar teams here, but we have to talk about Shoot to Kill. They dominated group stage, they won most kills, most assists, most winner chicken dinner, and community voted MVP Purdy Curry. They've won group stage by 63 points. This is really a huge point gap, but would there be teams to challenge Shoot to Kill by any chance?
Yeah, definitely. I think there are a lot of teams who can challenge Shoot to Kill here. I'm going to focus on 3. The first being Oath, a young team, a team full of really, really mechanically gifted players, of course, winning the PCS Charity Showdown. So these guys always going to be in it, I think. So the second team I'm looking at is Radiance, a team full of veterans who've been playing for quite some time. 3 of their players actually participating in PGC 2019. Los, Waldo. These guys are really good. McCoy. I mean, what an incredible team to have. And then finally, I'm going to look at Sonics. They do support the superior pizza, being pineapple on pizza, so you got to give them some love.
Yeah, I love pineapple pizza too. But I want to talk about Tiggleton. He's back with Sonics. How do you think about this team synergy?
I think it's going to be interesting to see how they gel. I mean, Tiggleton's been kind of bouncing in and out of teams for a while. Of course, we know he's an insane player on his own. He's capable of popping off at any time. The real question is how fast are they going to be able to get their teamwork going? If they can get it going, they absolutely have a shot.
Lastly, I want to talk about Team Veritas, the former Wildcard Gaming, which was the biggest rival to Shoot to Kill in PCS1. All 4 members moved to Team Veritas, so I really want to see the rivalry again in PCS2, and I'm expecting a lot from them too. So next is APAC. I see a lot of familiar teams here, and I see some new teams, but among these teams, I really want to highlight 2 teams, Division X Gaming and Archangel Predators. Division X Gaming, they were the champion, and Archangel Predator, they led this event in the first week, but we couldn't meet them in PCS1, but now they came back, and I'm really expecting a lot from these teams.
Yeah, for me, I'm really going to highlight MSC Theraton, the 2-time champions of the PTS, the Thailand series. So I really think there's a lot of potential here, as Thailand has really shown to be a strong country in this region. The other team I'd say is more of a dark horse, but I think has a decent shot at potentially winning this, as Battle Arena Elites. There's a lot of really strong players who've kind of bounced around from teams like Flood, who used to be on Atletico. You've got Loki's, who's been on BAE for a while, Neferhor from Australia, and then Sophia from Malaysia as well. So this is a really, really good team.
What about the Oceanian teams? Like, they now have only 2 seeds, but I think Astra and Fury are the best 2 teams in Oceania.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going with Fury. They just are so consistent. They're the best team in Oceania for sure. So for this team, they definitely have a real shot, and I'm definitely considering them for my pick to win APAC.
So here we have a lot of teams who made it to all PCS events, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's been quite a few teams that have made it to all 3 PCS events so far. Coming from Vietnam, both Cerberus and Divine have qualified for all 3, and from Thailand, Buriram and Daytrade Gaming have both made it as well. So this might be their chance to really shine.
And last, we have 2 Indonesian teams again from the future. From PCS Charity Showdown is back, and Victim Rise is always consistent in their league, so I'm expecting a lot from them too. Last but not least is Europe. Europe, we can see a lot of familiar teams, but there are a lot of strong teams here, so any teams can win here. We really have to talk about the last day of the group stage. Navi, they won 4 chicken dinner in a row, earning 96 points. This is a record. And FaZe Clan, they showed the FaZe Sunday, earning like 87 points. They were a huge points there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are some of the mainstay teams, the teams that we've come to know and love in Europe, really stepping up on the final day, making one of the most exciting days in PUBG Esports history. So many exciting days across so many regions, but you really love to see it. FaZe looks like they're finally starting to come together. Navi adding Orange seems to be a good addition, replacing Kemba, but Senya continues to lead whatever team he's on to good results.
I also want to talk about Clib moving into Team Liquid from Tempest. How is it going?
Seems to be going really well. It seems like whatever player you fit into the Team Liquid machine does really quite well. So I'm excited to see this with the results, having him on the team for the first time, being this good. Maybe this is finally the roster that can take them to the heights where they can win a championship. So I'm really excited about that. Another player that I'm interested to see how he does is Kemba, moving off of Navi over to Winstreak. They looked pretty darn good, to be honest, for their first time together as well. So they're definitely a team you got to keep in mind. I mean, there's so many good teams in Europe.
I know, Northern Lights, they've been performing so well constantly throughout all PCS events, and TSM, they've kind of struggled in PCS2 group stage, but they were the champion of PCS1 Europe. So I can't wait to find out which team will be the champion of PCS2 Europe out of these marvelous teams. And again, we have PCS2 Pick'em Challenge on track. I really love the PCS2 items. How do you think about it?
Oh, they're great. I mean, once again, just awesome items to choose from.
Yeah. So to get the reward items, you need EPs and building coupons, and we'll tell you how to get them. So for EPs, you can participate in Pick'em Challenge, And the main event is, as always, predict the winners. So you can easily predict the winners of each region and get 100,000 EPs.
Once again, the Pick'em Challenge, it's going to be free to choose the rivalries. And this time around though, the way you get points is going to be a little bit different. It is a weighted voting system, meaning if you pick a team and you're one of the low percentage people and your team does better, then you're going to get way more points than if you say pick a team that has a lot of votes for it and they win. So it's kind of an interesting gamble you got to take.
Yeah, you have to think a lot before you pick. You can also get additional EPs and voting coupons by simply watching PCS2 live streaming on Twitch. You can get it by Twitch drops. And also there will be the quizzes during matches, and if you get right, you can also get EPs.
Right, and also the same thing's gonna happen like in PCS1. There's gonna be codes that come up on the screen. There's only a limited number of people who can get them, so you gotta be ready to enter them into your PUBG client as soon as possible. And console players, don't worry, we got you guys. Details of how you can participate are coming up soon too.
So don't forget to participate in Pick'em Challenge and get exclusive PCS2 items. And here's our pick. PUBG Continental Series 2 will kick off on August 27th with PCS2 Asia. So mark your calendar and stay tuned. I'm really excited to see who's going to be the champions.
Yeah, I really can't wait. And thank you guys so much for your continued support. PCS events have been awesome so far this year and we couldn't do it without you.
So don't forget to subscribe and like for more PCS2 news.